Yeah, it's all about Jesus, period. There you go. We love Jesus. Hey, we're talking today about dreams. We're going to talk about some dreams. But how many of you have ever had a dream? Ever had a dream? Okay. Now, when I say that, I probably should have preferenced before I asked you, but when I say that, I'm not talking about I stayed up late last night and I watched some weird movie, and so I had some weird, funky dream that I barely remember, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a God-sized dream. I'm talking about a vision from God, a mission from God, a dream from God, where he put on your heart that you've got to be doing this, that kind of dream. That's the kind of dream we're going to be talking about today, a dream where you go, this is the life direction of my life. This is how I'm going to live from now on because I have to achieve what God has laid out for me. That kind of dream. At Hilltop, good example for you, we have that kind of dream. We have that kind of dream here. It's really nuanced, big dream, but a big chunk of it is we have a dream to build a new building, right? Really, 2 new buildings that's coming. Thank you. I got one woo out of there. Yeah. So yeah. Sorry. Yeah. We're building an auditorium for adults. We're building a students building for our children's ministry, which is growing a lot. But that's really just the beginning. That's not the end of the dream. You can see it. It's on the board out there. You guys walk past it all the time and just ignore it. But anyways, it's there, all that information. But you can see how big it really is. And it takes a long time to get there. But like any dream, it doesn't always play out the way you thought it was going to play out. You know, for me, this dream would have happened 4 years ago, 6 years ago maybe. It's gone much slower. And go, whoa, what's going on? Which makes you think, well, is God in this? Maybe we made a mistake, right? And it's interesting because this is the way God works sometimes through dreams and vision. Maybe you guys even felt that way. Some of you waning. Is this ever going to happen? What's going on? Well, I asked the same question. Is this ever going to happen? What's going on? And Jesus says, yes, just shut up and keep going, right? Yeah, sometimes you just got to say shut up to you, right? I've heard it from him. Just shut up. Keep going. All right. Okay, I trust you, Jesus, right? If you have your Bibles, open up to me Genesis chapter 37. Genesis chapter 37. I asked you guys to go ahead and start reading that in advance. I hope you did. Maybe I should give a quiz. No, I'm just kidding. I won't give a quiz. I won't test you. If you don't have a Bible, by the way, there's white Bibles out there. You can take that white Bible home with you. We want you to have a Bible. Or at the connection table, if you go at the connection table, they have white Bibles. You can get one of those Bibles. You can take it home. We want everybody to have a Bible, the Word of God in your hands. So if you go out these doors, turn to your left, over there, you'll see the connection table. Stop by there if you're first time. We have a gift there for you anyways. But get a Bible. Genesis chapter 37, verse 5. It's on the screen here. It says, one night Joseph, now I should probably stop there because this is Joseph, the son of Jacob, not Joseph who married Mary. Wait, that sounds weird, doesn't it? Joseph who married Mary. But anyways, Joseph who married Mary, that's not that Joseph. Not baby Jesus Joseph. This is way back. That's in the book of Luke. We're jumping all the way back to the book of Genesis, right? And this is Joseph, the son of Jacob. So you have Abraham. Maybe you've heard that name. If you've been in church, if you don't know it, that's okay. But when God starts out choosing the Jewish people, he starts out with Abraham, and then Abraham has a son Isaac, and then Isaac has a son Jacob. And many times in the Old Testament, you'll see this reference of, I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. God is laying out, establishing who he is, right? And then he has these 12 sons, and one of those sons is named Joseph. There you go. Yeah, you guys are with me. Yeah, you're following along, right? This is that Joseph. So it says, one night Joseph had a dream. Ooh, right? He must have had some bad spaghetti or bad camel milk or something. I don't know, right? He said, he had a dream, and when he told his brothers about it, right? You guys said you've had dreams, and you get up in the morning, and you share those dreams, and everybody looks at you and says, ooh, you are kooky. I don't know what's going on up there, right? Crazy dreams, right? When he told his brothers about it, they hated him more than ever. Nice family dynamics, right? They hated him. Maybe this is why. Verse 6, listen to this dream, Joseph said. We were out in the field tying up bundles of grain, which means grain stand tall. They were wrapping it together, right? And they were each doing it in his dream. And suddenly, my bundle, Joseph's bundle, stood up. It stood upright. And your bundles, the brothers' bundles, all gathered around, circled around him, and bowed low before Joseph. Wow, right? I can maybe understand here why Joseph's brothers would think he's a total moron. Yeah, I mean, remember, Joseph is the younger brother, 12 older brothers, and the youngest. How many of you are the baby children? Raise your hand, come on. You know you like to be shown off, so go feel free. Okay, good. Those are my people right there. You're the godly people. Anyways, how many of you are the oldest siblings? Raise your hand. If you're a middle child or oldest, raise your hand. Wow, you way outnumber us babies, but you still bow down and worship us. Anyway, so there it is, right? There it is. You older siblings go, well, the baby child, what? We dominate over them. We beat them down. They're little crybaby twerps, right? We whoop them. We dominate. And so when the baby shows up and says, I have this dream where you all gather around me and bow down and worship me, no older sibling is going, oh, yeah, that looks likely. They're all like chest puffing out. What do you think? You worship me, right? Maybe that's the male side. I don't know what you women do. I don't know. Right? You see a little bit of ego here out of Joseph. And he's proud to celebrate this dream. Guys, you're all going to worship me, right? If you had done your homework and read Genesis chapter 37, you would know he had another dream that included mom and dad bowing down and worship him. Whoa, mom and dad. I know my dad. He would have been like, I ain't worshiping you, punk. Right? I don't know what you're talking about. It's not happening. Now, I want you to notice something here in the text. A lot of people kind of miss this. The text does not say that the dream came from God. I just want you to notice that. The text does not say that God gave Joseph this dream. So here's Joseph saying, here's this dream I had where you're all going to bow down and worship me, right? The text doesn't say that. So we're left to guess, is this dream from God or is it just bad camel milk from the night before and Joseph is, like, whatever, buddy. Yeah, who do you think you are, right? What's going on? We're left to guess that. And the reality is this is the way it is with any dream. Any God-sized dream, any vision or mission that people are on for God, we're all left to do the same thing. Well, God didn't show up and tell me that your dream is right, so how do I really know? Because maybe you just, maybe you're just pulling this out of your keister and you're wishful thinking here, right? And we're left to believe that because we don't know. Now, spoiler alert. Sorry if you haven't read ahead, right? But the dream is from God. And we know it because we know how it plays out. And we see the hand of God. But at this moment, we're not told it's from God. And furthermore, Joseph's brothers and his father and his mother have no idea if this dream is from God. So they're left to question, is this dream from God or not? And it's exactly the way it is, right? Is this dream from God or not? And some of you may wonder that here at Hilltop. What's Hilltop doing? Is this from God or not? Does God want us to do this or not? Does God want to see us build? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Some of you wait and go, I don't know. Maybe it's taken so long. Maybe it's not from God, right? And we have all these questions rise up. Is it from God or not? Is this just somebody trying to get our money? Is this just, some nut job? We drank bad camel milk and should we follow him, right? We all just took communion together. Jimmy Jones, that's what he did and killed a bunch of people. I don't know, right? Blast of the past, sorry there. Anyways, right? Yeah, now you guys are nervous. My lips are a little tangy. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. You're fine. It's fine. It's just bad grape juice anyways, right? You don't know, but that's the reality, right? The reality is you don't really know. Because is it from God or not? And some of you may say that here. What I say is, spoiler alert, it's going to happen. We're going to build. It's coming. May not be in my timing, but it's going to happen. And the reality is, this is where we have to seek God individually and say, God, are you behind this or not? Do I believe it or not? And I can't make you believe it, but you got to chase God. Just like Joseph couldn't make his brothers believe it, yes, there's a sense of ego and pride there, a stench. But at the same time, he's telling them exactly what God has revealed to him. But yet, not everybody believes it in the moment. They don't catch fire of God. God-sized dreams cause tension. God-sized dreams cause tension. You're going to get tense, right? When we talk about God-sized dreams. Whenever somebody has a dream, a God-sized dream, whenever someone has a vision that God has given them, whenever someone's on a mission for God, that God has told them, this is what I want you to do, when any time that happens, it's going to cause tension in their life and in everybody else's life. It's a tense moment, right? Genesis chapter 37, verse 5. I'll read it again. It says, and when he, Joseph, told his brothers about it, they hated him more than ever. They hated him. First of all, they already hated him. Do you see that in the text? I already hated this guy. And then he gave the vision, and they hated him even more. We hate your guts. Because you had a dream? Really? It's probably bigger than that, right? Hated him. Not everybody's going to agree with a God-sized vision. Not everybody's going to like it. Not everybody's going to be comfortable. It's going to cause some tension. And this is what's happening, right? First, the person who has the dream, Joseph. The person who actually God says, here's the dream. Because he's got to tell somebody, right? Got to tell somebody. So God chose Joseph to tell him the dream. So God gives him the dream. And this is the thing about dreams. We love a God-sized dream. God reveals the dream. It's an awesome experience. But God has an interesting way of doing it. What God does is he usually reveals the end of the dream. We love the end of the dream. We love that part. But he tends to leave out everything between now and the end. And there's a whole journey that's going to happen of experiences that God doesn't mention. Because he wants you fired up about the end, but he knows the middle part is going to be a little shaky. And you're not going to love it so much. Because going from here to there, there's a lot involved. A lot of drama, a lot of tense situations, a lot of faith, gut-wrenching moments. And we're not so excited about those moments. But the end, we get excited. But when we realize, oh, wait, how long is this journey going to take? What's going to have to happen in my life? Whew. Spoiler alert, if you read into Joseph a little bit, Genesis, you know what I'm talking about, right? God-sized vision. It doesn't always play out the way we want. To get the end results is awesome, but getting there, tense. And then we have the people who hear about the vision, the dream. Now, not everybody is excited about a God-sized dream. Not everybody gets, wow, right? Because some people go, whoa, if we do that, my life is going to be affected. I'm comfortable at this church. I don't want to have to lose my seat. I want more people coming in. It's hard enough parking. I would hate to have to park down in the dirt parking lot. Heavens forbid, right? We have more people coming. That means someone's going to steal my position. That means, I don't know who these people are. I'm going to have to meet new people, learn new names. I don't know about this, right? Not everybody's excited about it. And some people are resistant, and some people are haters. They're going to work to stop it, right? No, that ain't happening on my watch. It's not happening on my watch, right? There's no way we're doing that. And you go, wow, why? Because the tension, they're just resistant to what God is doing. And they don't believe. They don't believe it's from God. This is exactly what happened, right? And notice that God did not give the dream to the 12, the older brothers. He only gave it to Joseph. You think, why not? Why didn't he just give it to all of them? Would have been a lot easier. They all just know? Oh, because there's got to be faith involved, and God knows what he's doing. He's doing something. He's creating tension that makes us uncomfortable. Personal growth is required for a dream to happen. Personal growth is required for a dream to happen, a God-sized dream. Personal growth, this is where the tension comes into play, right? Inner personal growth is what I'm talking about. Interpersonal. God desires to transform us from the inside out. Many times he does that by sending us on a mission, a vision, a God-sized dream, because he knows that journey is going to begin to work on us and it's going to transform us. And that transformation has to happen for the dream to come true. God's desire to come true. And he's working on us, right? Joseph. Why didn't Joseph's brothers like Joseph? Because he probably was a punk. He was a punk, right? He was a little twerpy punk. When Joseph was 17, he would go out and work with his brothers. 17 years old. So we're not talking like a 7, 8-year-old whiny punk. We're talking 17-year-old teenager punk. Right? I love teenagers, but they all think they know everything, right? Talking to all you guys right here. I got a whole row of them, right? I don't know how Tim and Emily got in that row, but anyways, you two are your age is not part of that. But anyways, right? I've got a whole bunch of teenagers out here. We love you guys. You guys are awesome, right? But at 17, you think you know everything, right? You have and we know this because we were all the same way, right? We were all the same way. We went through the same process, so we love you. We bear with you, but we make fun of you too. Anyway, so yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just part of the process, right, of growing up. But Joseph, 17, he's a punk. It says this, Genesis 37, verse 2. It says, but Joseph, he was working with his brothers, but Joseph reported to his father some of the bad things his brothers were doing. Whoa. Well, there's a saying that I've heard, snitches get stitches and end up in ditches. Or in Joseph's case, wells. Anyways, right? Snitches get stitches and end up in ditches or wells. That's Joseph, right? He was a little punk, you know. He was going back. Dad, do you know what they were doing? Right? You've probably worked with people like this on the job someplace. And, you know, there's the rules, and then here's how we get the job done, right? And the pulleys kind of, here's how we do the job. I know here's the rules, but here's how we do it. And you work together, and then there's always that one employee who's like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, so we're not supposed to be doing this. Some of you are that person. You know who you are, right? That's not how we're supposed to be doing, right? And you have siblings, and you were raised with them, right? And they were the sibling who's like, Mom and Dad said we shouldn't be doing this. And you're like, shut up. Mom and Dad aren't here. What Mom and Dad doesn't know won't hurt them. Well, I'm going to tell them. Well, we're going to hurt you then, right? I mean, you know what that was like, right? You know, and this is Joseph, right? I'm going to tell Dad. I'm going to tell Dad, right? He's a little punk, right? A little whiner, right? And so there may be a reason that he gets this dream, and his brothers are like, oh, come on, buddy, right? You're a little punk here, right? You're a little punk. Joseph also was spoiled. He was spoiled. We know this. Genesis chapter 37, verse 3. It says, Jacob, that's the dad, loved Joseph more. Wow, what good parenting. Really. Do not favor your children. They're all different and unique. And, you know, you got to make sure you love each of them and smack each of them every now and then. You know, I'm just kidding, not abusively. Right? They're all different and unique, but they're wonderful. Jacob loved Joseph more than any of his other children because Joseph had been born to him in his old age. Now, I'm getting older, and I have a different perspective on this. Yeah, that's right. I love him more because I had him at a young age, not an old age. I'm tired, right? So one day, Jacob had a special gift made for Joseph, a beautiful robe But his brothers hated Joseph because their father loved him more than the rest of them. They couldn't say a kind word to him. Notice again, there's no mention of Joseph trying to downplay the favoritism from dad. See, some children are favored and they recognize it, and they're like, well, just mom and dad, they try to downplay it. Not Joseph, right? Joseph gets this coat, and he wasn't like, gee, Dad, thank you very much. I'll wear it when I go to the market, but at home, I'll keep it on the down low, right? No, Joseph's wearing this coat. Hey, check out this coat. Look at this. Yeah. Hey, I just want you to know Dad loves me more. Yeah, that's right. And some of you know, there's those T-shirts out there that said, my favorite child bought me this shirt. My sister got my dad that shirt. And I said, wow, he's wearing my shirt again. I don't know where I got that from. Anyways, so there's that competition. And so, here's Joseph out. I'm the favorite. I'm the youngest. Losers, right? Oh, and by the way, I had this dream, and you're all going to bow down and worship me. So you can see the stench of, he's just a punk, and he's spoiled brat, and spoiled brats tend to be selfish. Me. Who cares about anybody else, right? And so what we're picking up here is that Joseph has some character issues that God needs to work on him. Joseph was not this perfect candidate. He had character issues. And for those character issues to be worked on, God had to take him through a series of events. Now, God knew what he was getting to because the dream is going to come true. But for that to happen, Mr. Joseph could not be punky little, oh, worship me, let's go, right? He couldn't be like that. So God has to do a work on the inside through Joseph so he can do a work on the outside with Joseph, right? He has to do a work on the inside to do a work through Joseph. That's what's happening. And character development. And a lot of our characters are what prevent God-sized dreams from coming true because our character is not in the right position. And sometimes I wonder, hey, God, why is it taking so long for us to build? Because it's taking a long time. It's driving me nuts. And sometimes I wonder, maybe as a church, we have some character issues we need to work on. Maybe we got some things we need to work on. And I wonder how many of us are willing to say, okay, God, you come and do major heart surgery on me. Because I know I have some character issues to work on. But usually we want to say, no, God, those people need some heart surgery. I am just fine. And God says, okay, Joseph. Okay. Maybe your brothers hate you and maybe that's not right. But maybe they're revealing that you have some character issues yourself. And we got to work on that, right? To achieve God-sized dreams, we got to do some work. We got to be open to God working on us and changing us because it's part of the process, right, of what he's doing. That's the tension. This is why some people don't like God-sized dreams. Because, God, I don't want to work on this. I'd rather you work on them, not this. That's the tension, right? Dreams, the dream doesn't always match expectations. The dream doesn't always match our expectations. That happens a lot, right? Typically, again, we get excited about the dream. We get excited about the end results, but we're not excited about the journey. And we recognize, here's what God said is going to happen, but now we're on a journey to see that happen. And all of a sudden we go, God, why are we going left? Right is where we're supposed to be going. God, why are we going up this mountain? Because it's in the valley where it's supposed to happen. God, this does not match what you said was going to happen. What is going on, right? This is not right. And we get frustrated, and this is where we start to question, well, maybe it was just indigestion, and I didn't really have a dream from God. Or maybe this is not the right direction. Maybe God is sending me messages because it's difficult and it's hard. And if it's difficult and hard, well, then it can't be a God-sized dream because God gave me the dream. And if God gave me the dream, it should just be easy. And if it's not easy, well, then I must be wrong. So I should just quit and give up now. We shouldn't achieve it. Well, you better keep reading Joseph and see how dreams go. What happens, right? Because it certainly doesn't get easier on Joseph. doesn't get easier at all. It gets more difficult. Yet, we want to quit. We like the end result. God, just give me the end. I don't have to do any work getting there. And God says that's not how it works, because we got to create some tension, and we got to work on some character, and you got to learn to trust me. Got to learn to trust God, right? Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. Some of you love this verse. It's a great verse, right? God says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope." Now, a lot of us just recognize the last half of that verse, and we say, well, God has plans for me. Nothing bad is supposed to happen. That's not what it says. It says, "For God knows the plans I have for you." He knows what he's going to do. It may not be fun. It may be major heart surgery. It may be character development. It may cause a lot of strife and struggle and tension in your life. But God is using all that to get you to here. And if you have this false idea that, oh, it's just going to be hunky-dory and everything's going to be great. My marriage is never going to struggle. I'm going to have the most perfect children in the world. You're in fantasy land. Because God is going to make tension happen. And sometimes he puts you with the person you married because he's going, you got character issues, and they're going to help. Now, as a spouse, you can't say, I'm here to help you with your character issues, because they're also there to help you with your character issues. So, you got to remember what's going on, right? And he gives us children. He brings us together as a church. And he says, I'm working on you individually, but I'm also working on you as a church, right? And God's doing all this kind of amazing stuff. And God says, I know the plans I have for you. So the point is, trust God no matter what you go through. Not, this should be easy. Because anything worth doing is not easy. A good marriage is not easy. It takes a lot of work. Raising quality children is not easy. There's lots of people who are lazy, and we see the results of those children. But good quality children, you got to fight. You got to work. And you're going to have some sleepless nights of praying and saying, God, you either do something or I'm killing them. Right? God says, relax. I know what I'm doing, right? And you say, do you? I'm not sure you do, right? And he says, relax. I know what I'm doing, right? I have the plans. I know the plans I have for you. Trust me. A God-sized dream is going to require us really three things: faith, loyalty, and never quit. A never quit attitude, right? Faith, loyalty, a never quit attitude. Any God-sized dreams is going to draw those out. If God gives you a dream, if it does not require any faith, it's not from God. If it's easy and doesn't require faith, it's not from God. God's not calling us to do the easy. God is calling us to change the world. And he has to change us to do a work through us to change the world. So it's not easy doing character development and changing who we are. In fact, it's horrible. But it's worth it because it's going to achieve God-sized dream. It requires faith. And in any dream, there's going to be a moment of going, I'm not sure, but okay, we're moving forward with you, Jesus. It requires faith. A great example of this is tithing. It's a great example. Tithing requires faith. You want to give money to church? No, you don't. But then God tells you to give money to church, and that's the tension. There it is, right? I don't really want to give, but God, you tell me to give, and God, who am I giving it to? And why should I give it to this church and not that church? And we got all these questions, and God, I could use that money, and where's it going to come? That requires faith. Do I believe God is going to take care of me or not? That's faith. So we give out of faith. And when we give it, we say, God, I trust you to do what's right with it. I'm not questioning it, I've given it, and now it's on them. God's not going to hold you responsible for what happens with the money in this church. He's going to hold me responsible. The elders responsible for what happens, right? Not you. You're supposed to give with faith. We're supposed to accept it with faith, and then we're supposed to spend it with faith. So there's a process of just, God, do I trust you or not through this whole process? Because I can't control it. I can only have faith. It's a great example, right? And then loyalty. A lot of people are not going to stand with God when the tension, the heat gets turned up. We're going to avoid God. things are going to happen in this world, and people are going to question God, and we're going to go, yeah, that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that one. I don't know. I'm just going to stay quiet on that, right? But God says stand loyal. He's looking for people who are going to stand loyal. He's looking for people that he's going to give a dream to. Everybody's going to say, that's stupid. We hate your guts. We're going to kill you over it. And us to say, bring it on. Because I stand with Jesus. He's greater than any of your hate. Because any God-sized dream is going to bring hate. People are going to hate it. It's just part of the process, right? God even knows that. So we're going to stand loyal with him. And then are we never going to quit? I'm telling you, a lot of people, we love the end results, but as soon as we start moving and tragedy happens in our life, difficulty happens in our life, we are quitting. I was a church planner, helped start 3 churches. Every single time you start a church, tragedy, trial happens, and it happens quick, and it happens hard. Hard. Sitting in there with a small group of people trying to start a church, and one of them saying, I hate my wife. I don't know if I want to marry her. I don't know if I want to stay married to her. Whoa, dude, we're trying to start a church. That's not the best footing to start off on, right? That's or children saying, I hate my parents. I'm never talking to them again. Whoa, what is going on? This is not normal stuff. Because the devil hates a God-sized vision, and he's going to come on and attack. And so are we going to just say, this is too much, I quit? Or we're going to keep going forward? And some of you quit, but you keep coming to church. You just emotionally shut down. But I go to church. Are you going to church? Or are you just coming and sitting for a little bit? Because not quitting is active involvement. Active involvement. Don't quit. Do you know it took like 13 years roughly for Joseph's dream to come true? 13 years. Whew. Some of us are like not given that much time. Not that much. You know, my grandma, 95 years old, she's been dead, gone for a long time now, but her dream was to live until Jesus returned. That was her dream. Jesus, I want to live until you return. Then she got like 92 years old and started saying, that's a foolish prayer. Jesus, take me home now. I do not want to live that long, right? Get me out of here, right? She honestly we had this conversation. Davis, don't pray foolish prayers. That's what she told me, right? I'm like, okay, I didn't understand it, but I'm getting older, my body's starting to hurt, and I'm like, Grandma knew what she was talking about, right? Okay. 2,000 years. Jesus is been resurrected for like 2,000 years. 2,000 years. Whatever, not being exact on math, but 2,000 years, right? And he has not returned. And there's a lot of people who are like, well, Jesus is going to return, right? Pretty sure, I think. You returning? I don't know. It's been a long time. My grandma died. She never saw it. Dad died. Never saw it. I wonder, am I going to see it? Jesus, you going to return, or am I going to die? My children going to see it? When are you coming, man? 2,000 years is a long time. You thought 13 years was a long time. 2,000 years? And you know what? It may take Jesus another 2,000 years. I don't know. It may come today. Praise Jesus. But there's a lot of people who need to go to heaven, so I'm not, Jesus, I want you to come, but hold on. There's people who need to know you first. So I'm kind of in that dilemma. Sorry, guys. Jesus, come, I want to go. But whoa, not so quick, because there's people who still need you. So, right? God-sized dreams. 2,000 years. 2,000 years. Some of us may never see the end results, but we're on the journey. Is it worth it? Because Jesus will come. He's either going to come for us individually, or that day when he actually comes and we see him in the sky. Praise Jesus. It's going to happen, right? What God has for us is for us. Okay? I could say it this way. What God has for you is for you. This is an amazing thing. God gives these dreams, but it's individual. God is working on us individually. The dream was given to Joseph. God is working on Joseph, right? It was an individual dream for Joseph. It really wasn't about his brothers. He just got a little arrogant and was bragging to all of them, right? That's what's happening. God gives us dreams individually. He's working on you individually. What he's given to you is for you, not necessarily for everybody else. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20, it says, now all glory to God who is able through his mighty power at work within, what's the word? At work within us. Okay, some of you need to recognize this. God is at work within you. You individually, right? To accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. Jesus is individually working on each and every one of us. That's awesome. And God is working on you uniquely, designing who you are. That's awesome. And then God brings us together as a church, Hilltop. And now he says, I'm working on you individually, but now I'm bringing you together as one church. And so now I'm working on you all as a church. And so each individual person comes in unique with God doing his thing. And then he all puts us together like a perfect little puzzle. And he's creating this beautiful thing to accomplish the dream he desires for us to dream. So recognize that. He's working on you individually. He's working on everybody individually. It doesn't look the same. Our experiences aren't the same. Our relationship with God is not the same. And then he brings us together and works on us as a church together as a whole. This church, not every church, we're unique individual, right? God has a cool way of doing that. And it's an awesome journey that we're on. And we have to have faith in that. We have to have loyalty in that. We have to say, I'm never going to quit. I got to keep going. Even though it looks bleak and I don't understand everything that's happening, I'm still journeying on with him because it's a God-sized dream. And if it was easy, why are we wasting our time? Anything worth doing for God is worth waiting and trusting and striving for it to be achieved. And we keep moving forward, right? It's just the way it is. So we have an individual choice. Am I going to trust God? And am I going to move forward with him and allow him to do a work on me? Or not? Am I going to join and become part of the us of the church and say, I believe in the mission of the church. I believe in the direction. I'm going to be involved. I'm going to invest in it. I'm going to give my time, my energy. I'm going to serve. And I'm not going to quit. Even when I go home sometimes and I say, man, I'm exhausted. I want to quit. It's got to be better somewhere else. It's not better anywhere else. Same problem, different face, but same person, right? So it's not going away, so might as well figure out how to deal with it now. And here's the thing. The pattern is the same. God is going to give us a God-sized dream, and some of us are going to accept it, and some of us are going to be the haters who reject it. But God already knows that. It's going to be in our family. Joseph's haters were in his family. He couldn't get away from them. They're part of his family. So we're going to have haters in our family who are going to reject the vision, but God has them there for a purpose. Let them hate. Let the haters hate. Trust Jesus and say, no, we're going to keep moving forward. Because God uses the haters to create tension in us, to create character development, and just recognize that's a hater. And don't be swayed away by the falsities of a hater. Haters are going to hate. That's what haters do, right? Hate. I encourage you, don't be a hater, but we're going to run into them, right? Even in our family, in our church. They're there, so don't be surprised. And don't waste your time comparing yourself to someone else's God-sized dream. Because God's working on you individually. Your dream doesn't look like other people's dream. It's different. God works on you differently, so you can't compare. You can't say, oh, they're better or they're worse. Because they're not. God's working on them the way they need, and he's working on you the way you need. It's different, right? So trust God. Trust God. Believe in him. Bow your heads with me. Close your eyes real quick. I want to ask you 3 questions. And you need to answer these questions in your heart. First one is, are you sabotaging God's dream for your life? Are you sabotaging God's dream for your life? Jesus will not stop taking us through certain situations in our life until we allow the character development to change our lives. So maybe you look at your life and you say, I keep going through struggle after struggle after struggle. If you start seeing a pattern, it's the same struggle, maybe you start asking yourself, ooh, am I learning the lesson? Okay, God, what do I need to learn? Are you fighting against Jesus' will in your life? It's another good question. You don't want to be a hater. There are haters. It's a waste of time. But why would you hate against Jesus and fight against him? So you need to ask yourself, Jesus, am I allowing you to do your thing in me? Jesus, am I becoming part of the church and allowing the church to do its thing? Am I involved in that? Am I invested in that? Or am I fighting against what you're doing? What's going on, right? And the other question is, have you quit on Jesus? Have you quit on Jesus? You may come to church, you may sit there, but have you quit? Because sitting there is not following Jesus. Being involved and active is following Jesus. Being involved with him, serving. There's plenty of serving opportunities. This church has plenty of opportunities to serve. There's plenty of opportunities outside this church to serve. Are you not involved in one? If not, why not? You should be involved somewhere. You should be engaged somewhere. You should be doing something somewhere. Following Jesus is not just sitting. It's moving. Jesus, I pray that you stir in our hearts your size dreams and you transform us, Lord. And may we have faith in you. May we stand loyal with you. May we never quit on you because you've never quit on us. Jesus, we love you. Transform us. And may the year of 2025 be a year where we allow you to do work on our lives so that you can do a work through our lives. We love you. We believe in you. And may it be always all about you, Jesus, period.